right, how is everybody doing? Welcome back here to the Just Ballin' podcast. Today, we're going to kind of recap the 2025 NBA draft, and I'm going to actually rank every team's draft class in 6 different tiers. It's going to be pretty much a very simple tier ranking. First tier, top 5 draft classes. Second tier, 5 through 10, or 6 through 10, I should say. 11 through 15, 16 through 20, 21 through 25, and 26 through 30, and this is going to have a couple different implications. If you made a trade like the Atlanta Hawks getting Kristaps Porzingis with the 22nd pick, I'll count that for the draft, or Mark Williams going to the Phoenix Suns, since that happened on draft night. And if a team didn't make a pick, yeah, I'm going to say it's a bad draft just by default, so they may end up towards the bottom. And yeah, we're going to just have a chance to basically talk about every team's draft class. I know I've talked a ton about round 1, but I want to talk about round 2. I did go live on the Sauce channel, basically just giving my thoughts and opinions on each pick. We had over like 5,000 people in there, so it was a lot of fun. And then I'll also be dropping my draft winners and losers over there on the channel as well. So we can just hop right into this. We're gonna go and start off with the Atlanta Hawks. It's gonna be in alphabetical order. They ended up trading Derek Queen. Wow, shout out to ESPN. This is the worst. Hold on. It says they have Derek Queen and Drake Powell. It's just going to be too confusing throughout this. All right, so I'm just going to have to follow ESPN's draft grades. I kind of actually wanted to react to these for a video, but it's the only other outlet that will have every pick made team by team. Everyone just throwing a 1 through 59. I think it'll just be easier to follow along. So we have the Atlanta Hawks to start things off. They drafted Asa Newell at 23. They add Kristaps Porzingis from the 22nd pick and Terrence Mann. And they also added the unprotected pick between Milwaukee, New Orleans in 2026, which could have, honestly, tremendous value. So, honestly, I think Atlanta, I mean, I kind of want to put them, like, they're not the best draft class because you only land Asa Newell, but if I take into account Kristaps Porzingis, if I also take into account the 2026 pick swap, that's really good as well. I don't know, though. Maybe I'll throw them at 6. Like, they're either, I think, the last in tier 1 or a top of tier 2. It's the first team. This could be interchangeable throughout this, but I think Atlanta, definitely one of the winners from the 2025 draft cycle. Not just like the first round, obviously. Like Asa Newell has a ton of variance. He's not a perfect prospect by any means. I like the fit. I wouldn't have hated it at 13, and they got him at 23. But yeah, like with Kristaps, Okongwu, Mohamed Gay, will they bring back Larry Nance? Jalen Johnson's a power forward. I wonder how many minutes he's really going to play next year. So Boston ends up with Hugo Gonzalez at 28. I did not like that pick a lot. I think Hugo, I mean, yeah, I probably undersold in some of my stuff saying that, like, how good that Real Madrid team is and how much talent is there, and it's tough for him to go. And Brad Stevens was very adamant on, like, how appealing that is in a trait that Hugo was okay not playing and developing and just kind of being a team player over there for Real Madrid. So he thinks that's going to have a good translation over to what the Celtics culture is. And I like that idea, or I like that reasoning. I think he explained it very well. I wonder about the shot. I worry about the shot. And I don't think if he shoots well, it's going to play. It's a different front office, but the Celtics over the last 10 years have not had a good track record with international guys. But yeah, this is now Brad Stevens into the fold and no longer, I guess, maybe Danny Ainge with the international guys. I like DeMar Williams at 46 and Max Shulga at 57. I think both of those guys exceeded their value on my big board where they got them. So I'm going to say Boston's class because I think the second round was nice. I don't think it's going to be one of the best. I don't think it's going to be one of the worst. So I'm going to put them kind of average, like 16 to 20 for now. There's a chance I drop them, chance I bump them up. Next up, we have the Brooklyn Nets. All right, I don't love it. You draft 5 rookies. I know there's a domino effect, but what if you took, like, Kaman or Kasparis at 8? What if you ended up with, like, a Nick Clifford at 19? And even a Drake Powell at 22 is fine. And then you took, like, you could still take Ben Surratt at 26. I don't mind you taking 2 point guards, 3. It's a bit ridiculous. Danny Wolf at 27 I also think is fine, enough value. I mean, I don't know if it's the worst because you drafted 5 rookies, but I'd rather rank the Nets' 5 picks not being my favorite higher than a team that had 0 picks. So I'm going to say the Nets are in like 21 to 25, but that's pretty bad after you had 5 first round picks to, I think, really make a name for yourself. And I just, a lot of guys that could dribble well, that could pass, that could facilitate it. Maybe that's the culture change they're trying. Maybe that's just the identity, the philosophy change they want. But they struggle at the rim. They struggle with the 3-point shot. I think Drake Powell's a project. I think even Danny Wolf is going to need some time to get acclimated, maybe to playing off of Nick Claxton. It's going to be a little bit different than Vlad Golden. So I'm going to put them in one of the bottom tiers, but I'm intrigued to say the least. Like, we'll get to the Pelicans. Don't really agree with everything they did, but I'm intrigued to say the least. There's a lot of intriguing teams in the 2026 season, including the Atlanta Hawks. Charlotte, love this draft, man. I know, like, VJ Edgecombe would have probably made it like an A+. ESPN giving it a B is blasphemy. But honestly, Con Knipple at 4, Liam McNeely at 29. You address shooting. Nick Smith was too inconsistent. Brandon Miller was banged up last year, but could be inconsistent. LaMelo, with the volume, it's a little inconsistent. KJ Simpson couldn't take a shot, or couldn't hit a shot. Trey Mann was hurt. This is a team that had some shooting, and Con Knipple is one of the safer prospects in this draft. I'm a big Con Knipple fan. I think Sion James at 33 is good value. He was a role player at Duke. He could be a role player for you at Charlotte. They need a center after trading away Mark Williams, so I'm already considering they also get a future 2029 first in this draft class as well. Kalkbrenner, set good screens, great catch radius at the rim. Con Knipple is going to throw a ton of lobs to him, and they also have that future first rounder down the line, and Kalkbrenner can kind of shoot a little bit. I think they had one of the best draft classes. I don't know about the best. We'll get to that, but I think they're in the top 5 for sure. And it helps they had 4 picks, but I really like their top 4 picks over like Brooklyn's 5 first rounders. And Charlotte only picked ahead of Brooklyn once. So yeah, I think Charlotte did a really good job in this class. Philadelphia, so they ended up, or no, we're on Chicago, excuse me. Noah Essengay 12. I do not love Essengay going ahead of Carter Bryant or Kasperi Shakuchonis, but I see the appeal in Essengay for sure. A lot of variance to his game, a lot of upside, a lot of downside in a way, depending if that shot can develop. And then I like Lachlan Olbrich at 55. Plays with a ton of like energy, high motor, can run up and down the floor, exactly what the Bulls want. Somebody that can play with pace over there. I don't hate it for Chicago. I don't love it. I'm gonna have them in the 16 to 20 tier. But there's a chance they also could move around as well. If I just realize like a couple teams like the Rockets, right? I mean, I'll just get to the Rockets right now. They didn't have any draft picks. So I guess I could consider Kevin Durant as part of their draft, right? Because they used the 10th pick. All right, maybe we'll get to the Rockets later on. Cleveland, Tyrese Proctor at 49. I love that value. And they took Salio Niang at 58 from Italy. So Niang's a drafting stash. We're not going to see him next year. I don't know when we'll see him at all. And they basically took somebody that hasn't really been a best shooter, and they wanted to avoid the second apron. So now you don't have to pay Niang because of the drafting stash or whatever the prorated second round minimum is. Proctor, though, I thought was great value. I tweeted out a couple times, like, how did Rasheer Fleming fall? How did Ryan Kalkbrenner fall? I tweeted out, how did Tyrese Proctor fall? Because he's got great value at 49. They need another guard with Tyler Jerome potentially being a free agent. And Proctor, unlike some of these other guards, I think with his size, his shooting, his passing, I think he could play for the Cavs next year, which is really impressive for a second rounder. You don't see that many second rounders kind of getting drafted or playing that frequently. So, I mean, the Cavs didn't really have a lot to work with. I'll probably throw it in the like 16 to 20 tier. I might drop them. We'll see. But I'll be nice to them. I'm probably going to drop them. Dallas. See, like, where do I put Dallas? You had the easy selection here. You got so lucky in the lottery with Cooper Flagg. And I just feel like, I mean, I could have just said, go on Twitter for a day to my grandma and let me know who the Mavericks should take number 1. She probably would have came away making the same decision with Cooper Flagg. So I don't think they deserve any props for that, but they did get the best player. They kind of just got lucky, to say the least. So I'm going to put the Mavericks, I'm going to put them in like 6 to 10, right? Like just outside the top 5. You did get the best player. I agree, but I don't think it was like as impressive as what Charlotte did. Chance I bumped them up into the top 5, but we'll see. So I'm going to have them in that 6 to 10 range. Denver did not have any draft picks, and they didn't use any trades. So their first round pick was from the Aaron Gordon trade. I'm not going that far back to kind of contextualize this draft. Like, yes, Kristaps Porzingis, 22nd pick. That'll contextualize. We're not doing trades from years ago for this draft. So they're just going to be in the last tier. It's whatever. It's not saying you're a bad franchise to have no draft picks, right? Plenty of great teams have had no draft picks before. Detroit, Chaz Lanier at 37. They made one selection. Chaz Lanier was the first guy to get drafted during a commercial. I love this pick. Lanier was so much fun to watch on both ends of the floor. High volume, high energy, three-point shooter, shot like 39% from 3. They mentioned on the ESPN article, 40% career on threes. And he was a great story coming up from North Florida. And yeah, if they can't re-sign Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, that's a really good ad for them. And I like his defense and maybe a good Marcus Sasser replacement. I think it's like similar to Cleveland. You had a second rounder that I really like, so I'll throw you in 16 to 20 for now. Golden State, I'm not a big Alex Tui guy. I like the Will Richard pick a little bit more. So they traded down basically with Phoenix to get 2 seconds. Tui's defense is almost NBA ready, I would say, but the shot is a work in progress. They wanted shooters, and Will Richard in the biggest moment of the national championship game was the only Florida Gator that was basically hitting outside shots to start the game off. And hey, being able to knock down shots in like the most pressurized college situation is so impressive. So I'm going to say, I like the Will Richard pick. I'm going to put it in 16 to 20, right? I'm going to bump somebody down. We'll see who I end up bumping down. All right, so next up here, we are going to have the Houston Rockets. I mean, the Kristaps trade happened like right before the draft, like a day or two. The KD trade happened, I mean, like 3 days before the draft. I mean, I might just put the Rockets in like 21 to 25. Yes, you traded Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks, but you did use the 10th overall pick to get Kevin Durant, which is amazing, and you don't get that deal done probably without the 10th overall pick. So I'll throw them in 21 to 25, but they're tough to grade. The Pacers took Cam Jones. Love that pick at 38. Taylon Peter, didn't know much about him. He was like the only college player drafted that I knew nothing about. And then, of course, the Knicks pick was the only other guy that I didn't know anything about either. But Peter shot 6% on twos, 45% on threes, and we'll see what his story is as Division II Arkansas Tech coming up to Liberty. I love the Cam Jones pick. That saves them a lot. So I don't know. I think Cam Jones is he was my 28th ranked prospect. They got him at 38, and I feel like it's a perfect pacer. So if I had to like reorganize this, I mean, I may throw Detroit up. I may throw Indiana up in this tier. Like, I don't know though. It's tough to really rank these draft classes, right? Between the Chicago Bulls and the Pistons. Maybe I'm disrespecting the Bulls, so maybe I'm going to bump them up, and we'll have maybe the Celtics up as well. So like the 16 to 20 are like the second round pick drafts that I liked. Shout out to Brooklyn being 21 to 25, and they had 5 first rounders. The Clippers, Yannick Niederhauser, I feel like wasn't what they should have done at 30. I think Kalkbrenner would have made a little bit more sense. I think Niederhauser's a great athlete, but I think he struggles on the glass, and we'll see if that ends up becoming something. Kevin Pelton of ESPN kind of compares him to Daniel Toro. That's giving me PTSD. I loved Toro out of Minnesota in that 2020 class. Sanders, I really wanted to go to my Knicks at 50. They make the pick. My reaction on the stream was like so hyped. I was like, let's go. And then it comes in the Knicks trade the pick, of course. I like Sanders. I don't know if I love him in Los Angeles. He's a little bit older. I don't think he's going to contribute right away unless the shot is there. But he's a phenomenal ball handler with the size. And they don't really need his, like, they're already a great defensive team. So I'm going to say for the Clippers, I might throw them in 21 to 50, honestly. Or 21 to 25, honestly. Lakers trading up, getting Adu Thero, I thought was great as well. Adu Thero is one of the best athletes in this class. And he's not a great shooter, and maybe Lakers fans are going to dislike him by December when he's like shooting 29% on threes, but he's one of the best athletes, one of the best defenders, can guard multiple positions, can have tip slam, like dunks on guys. He can throw it down on you. He can catch alley-oops. He's a great off-ball player. He's a great athlete. He can dive for loose balls no matter where it is. He will have that energy and intensiveness that I think Lakers fans will fall in love with. A little Alex Caruso-esque, if you will. So I'll throw the Lakers, honestly, maybe 11 to 15. Like Thero, I thought was great value. We'll see though. I'm going to have these. I just liked a lot of second rounders. I thought Memphis had a really good draft. Cedric Howard at 11. They did trade up for. ESPN didn't really like it, which is interesting. I don't think that Orlando 2028 pick is going to be valuable given how solid Orlando is right now. Javon Small at 48, I loved. I had him ranked, I think, like 38 or something, and he's one of the best shooters. He was the best player on West Virginia last year. And Jemai Meshack as well. I thought should have been for sure a second rounder. When you watch Chaz Lanier, it's hard not to notice Jemai Meshack's defensive intensity as well, like Adu Thero of Tennessee. I think Memphis had a really good class. I may throw them in the top 5. It may not get a lot of love right now, and it has a lot of variance of Cedric Howard, and the 6-game sample size was all kind of a trick, and we got brainwashed and hyped up for 6 games, but I think he's legit. I like what Zach Klayman did in wake of the Bane trade. Miami getting Kasparis at 20 was one of the best value picks in this draft. Kasparis was 7th on my big board, and he's somebody that is going to, I think, be fine enough defensively. Not great, not bad. He's going to play make extremely well. He can navigate ball screens on defense. He can operate out of the pick and roll. He's going to have Bam Adebayo and Khalil wearing pick and pops, short rollers. He's going to find those guys perfectly with his 6'4", 6'5" size. I think Miami, I don't know if one pick I can put you in the top 5. So this will be a little like Cooper Flag-esque, but I think Miami did the right job at 20. So I'm going to put them in 6 to 10 right now with Atlanta and Dallas. Next up, we are going to have the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to put them in 26 to 30. I think maybe I'll move them up. It was funny because I noted, I talked about it on the stream, but they basically Shams comes on. A lot of Bucks fans that were in my stream were saying he's yapping. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So I guess take it with a grain of salt, but I trust Shams. He's saying that Giannis is monitoring the Bucks draft decision at 47 very closely. And we made so many jokes. Like, is Giannis grinding tape? Is Giannis grinding A10 tape, WCC tape, international tape? And, like, it doesn't really matter. And I thought it was hilarious that after he said that, because you would assume he would want somebody that can help them next year, they take an international project player in Bogoslav Markovic from Mega Basket, who was a good three-point shooter in the Adriatic League, but I think he needs a lot of work defensively. He's super thin right now. He needs to get stronger if he's going to play the 4 or the 5 at the NBA level. And I don't think he's going to make an immediate impact for this team, which I thought was kind of ironic given what they said about Giannis. Honestly, I wasn't high on Minnesota's draft compared to some other people. Like Yohan Berenger at 17. I mean, I would have loved Sorber for them, but he went 15. And Rocco Zikarsky at 45. Clearly, they wanted to get more center depth. They have kind of a type here, both international guys. Rocco from the NBL, Berenger from the Adriatic League. Guys that have wide catch radiuses to catch alley-oops, great wingspans, more so Berenger's. Good athletes, or Berenger's a better athlete. Zikarsky's going to be a better rim protector. Maybe they're worried in life post-Rudy Gobert. Maybe they think they could trade Gobert. Let's have options. It's not my least favorite draft. It's not my favorite draft. I might throw them in 21 and 25, though. I just would have liked some other talent on the board that can help them in the conference finals next year. I don't think Berenger is going to play meaningful minutes, or Zikarsky. I could be completely wrong. So they gave the Pelicans an F. All right, that is harsh. I know the trading of the pick wasn't great. They ended up with Fears at 7, Queen at 13. I like Micah Peavy at 40, but Peavy, I would have rather seen him on the Knicks or a different team. Like, he's never going to play in New Orleans. This man is joining a team with Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Zion Williamson, Jordan Hawkins, Sadiq Bey, Jordan Poole. I guess that's it for the Brandon Boston, right? There's definitely another perimeter player I'm just blanking on. So I don't think PV is going to have much of a role unless a lot of guys get injured. Jeremiah Fears also with DeJounte Murray hurt, but he'll be back. Jordan Poole, Jose Alvarado, where's his playing time? And I worry about Fears. Like, I like Kasparis a little bit more if they were to go that route. And Queen at 13 is great value for Derek Queen, but it's also like you gave up that 2026 unprotected swap between you and Milwaukee, which has a chance of being a top 5 pick. I don't think, like, in terms of draft classes, like Fears and Queen and PV, really good talent. It's just like everything considered with New Orleans. I'm going to throw it in 21 to 25. No, I'm going to throw it in 16 to 20. I don't know, man. Like, I'm going to take into account trading that pick next year. I'm going to throw it in 16 to 20. I think they could be considered losers, but also have, like, at least more of an appealing draft class. And I'll help them with the unknown. Like, one of that pick is 14, and Derek Queen plays, like, a top 5 rookie. Then you're okay with it. So if I were to bump down a team here, do I bump down? I'll bump down Golden State. So right now, to recap for you guys listening on audio, 2 teams in the top tier as of now, Charlotte and Memphis. 3 teams in the 6 through 10 tier, Atlanta, Miami, and Dallas. 2 teams in the 11 to 15 tier, Boston and Chicago. 5 teams in 16 through 20, Detroit, Indiana, LA, the Lakers, Cleveland, and New Orleans. And then 21 to 25, I have Brooklyn, Minnesota, Houston, Los Angeles, and Golden State, so could change there. And then 26 to 30, I have Milwaukee and Denver. The New York Knicks here, they're one of the worst ones. It was every year, man, I go on the stream of the draft and Leon Rose trades the pick. They did it in 2020. I thought we had Leandro Bolmaro. We ended up with quickly, so I guess I'm happy it worked out. 2021, they traded the Kai Jones pick. They ended up with Quentin Grimes. It worked out. 2022, they traded, I forget if it was the Jang pick or the Jalen Duren pick. Either way, they traded out of the lottery. It helped them get Jalen Brunson, so it worked out. 2023, the Knicks didn't have a first rounder from the Josh Hart trade. And 2024, they traded the Dylan Jones pick for 5 seconds. This year, they take Kobe Sanders at 50. I get hyped. It's a player I wanted. I wanted Lanier, Sion James, or Sanders. Lanier and James go. So I'm like, let's go. We get one of the guys I wanted, but I would have been fine with Dink Pate. I would have been fine with Lachlan Olbrich, any one of those guys. They take Mohamed Diawara, who averaged 6 points. He shot like 38% from the field last year for Cholet, which is, or Cholet, the same team Tijan Salon played on last year. And he's probably going to be a drafted stash. We'll see. Apparently, he's friends with Bakome Dadiet, the Knicks first rounder last year. He's going to apparently play in the Summer League. We'll see. Good athlete, but Typical Knicks pick. I left disappointed, man. It would have been nice, right? To like a team that has depth issues. You take an RJ Lewis, you take a Ryan Nemhard, you take one of these wings that can at least play, or at least has a shot at playing. John Tanjay, maybe. Nope, they decide not to go that route. Or Tanjay might have been off the board. Oklahoma City, they took Thomas Sorber at 15. Love that pick. Gonna need some time to develop, but I think by the time Hartenstein's maybe too expensive for them, Sorber could be a guy for them. And Barnheiser was banged up last year for Northwestern, but high basketball IQ, was a good three-point shooter 2 years ago, and is a very good defender at Northwestern. I don't know if he'll ever play for them, but I think OKC is going to go in the 11 to 15 tier. Maybe I bump them up. We'll see. We'll see. Next up, we have Orlando. I love Jace Richardson at 25. I don't love Noah Penda going ahead of like a Due Thero and Sion James for Orlando. Plus, they traded up, so they traded future picks for Noah Penda, which I didn't love. Penda, good defender. I mean, Thero's better right now defensively, and Sion James, and you have to believe in Penda's shot. I think he could be a fine mid-range shooter, but I just don't know if that's what Orlando needs. I love the Jace pick, so it hurts it a little bit. I'll put them 6 to 10, but I may drop them to 11 to 15. I think I will. Actually, I'm putting them there. I know I'm going to drop them. Next up, but I love the value of Jace. They got him at 25. He was my 10th ranked prospect. Philadelphia, Edgecombe at 3, love. Third ranked player, you get him at 3. And I'm excited to see the fit, right? Like, is it really going to work out with Maxey, McCain, and Grimes? We'll see, but he's a phenomenal athlete. I don't love Janai Broome at 35. I would have preferred Maxime right now, who was still on the board. I would have preferred to do Thero if they were going to go a non-big there. I think Broome kind of became underrated throughout the draft process because he was such a productive college player, but I would have liked right now a little bit more. Philly's going to go in the 11 to 15. I love Edgecombe, but it wasn't like a hard pick. I guess it was a hard pick because it could have been anybody at 3. I'll put them 11 to 15 for now. Chance to move. Phoenix, I liked because I'm going to say they got Kaman, Rasheer Fleming, Kobe Bryant. If I have to kind of believe that Houston got Kevin Durant, I have to kind of also believe that Phoenix got Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks. But more so Kaman, Fleming, Kobe Bryant. Loved all those picks. Outperformed where I had them on the big board. Kobe Bryant was like 38. Fleming was 16. And Kaman was 10 for me. He goes 10. Fleming goes 15 spots later than where he was on my big board. And Kobe Bryant right around the range. Mark Williams you get as well. I think you're okay trading Liam McNeely. I don't think the Suns need a Liam McNeely if it was going to be that guy. 29 first, it's a swap. Worse between the Jazz, the Jazz, the Cavs, and the Timberwolves. Whoever's the best team there, it's their pick. So if it's the 29th pick or the 30th pick, you're getting that one. And Minnesota's going to have Anthony Edwards. Cleveland's going to be probably fine in 4 years. So I think they didn't really give up a lot. I think Phoenix had a top 5 draft class, if we're being honest. Next up, we have the Portland Trailblazers, where they took the biggest shocker, Hansen Yang. I can't wait to be done with this draft cycle, and I can't wait to watch them in Summer League because I'm done like dunking on this pick, but I got to throw it in 26 and 30. You reached a guy that was like 34 on the consensus big board. That was your only pick in this draft. It really wasn't something of need. I think for how, like, Portland wasn't bad last year, but they weren't good. And Hansen Yang, or Yang Hansen, please let me know in the YouTube comments, like, what's the proper way of saying his name? I'm just going to look it up after this as well. But for Hansen Yang going where he did, I thought was such an eye popper. And I think just that's your only player from this class was interesting. They got Drew Holiday a couple days before, but I got to throw them in 26 to 30. Sacramento, I love their class. I loved who they got at 24. Then maybe who Atlanta, like if they took Asa Newell at 13, I had Clifford ranked ahead of Newell. Clifford's an absolute gamer that can help them right away. Mentioned the Josh Hart comp, can space the floor, an elite rebounder like Josh Hart on the perimeter. And they traded a lottery protected Spurs pick in like 2027, which you're okay giving that up. And they got Maxime Reynau at 42. That's their third center that can space the floor. Sabonis, Valanciunas, and Reynau. And I think Reynau fell way too low. And I think that's a really fun fit in Sacramento. There's going to be some defensive issues, but I like it. I'm going to throw Sacramento in the 6 through 10 tier. San Antonio, Dylan Harper too. Like, I can't give them a ton of credit, like the Cooper Flag. When I was talking about Cooper Flag before, right? Like, second best player in this draft. You kind of could have did one day of research to figure that out. But getting Carter Bryant at 14 is a perfect spur. Somebody that can guard multiple positions. Was a catch and shoot guy at Arizona. Did it very well. He's going to have more volume, hopefully, at one point. and could be an elite catch and shoot 3-and-D guy that can guard multiple positions. That's like physically gifted. That could be a lot of fun to watch at the NBA level. So I'm going to give San Antonio a top 5 grade here. I don't think I'm going to really order them in their tiers because I don't want to rank them 1 through 30. My head's going to be spinning. Next up, we have Toronto. Defense made out very well here. Colin Murray-Boyles, one of the best defenders in this class, maybe number 2 behind Cooper Flagg. And Elijah Martin, one of the best guard defenders in this draft as well, whose three-point shot wasn't perfect, but clearly they had identity. Clearly the ownership didn't love it, or no, it was more so probably behind the scenes because Masai Ujiri got let go this morning, so right after the draft. I don't think it was the worst draft. I don't think it was the best draft. I'm going to drop Toronto in. Do I want to drop them 6 to 10? I might have to drop, because, okay, so, like, I'll throw them in 6 to 10 for now, but I think they're more like 11 to 15. We have Utah and Washington left. I loved Utah saying, F it, we're going to take Ace Bailey, because that's a blue chipper, right? That's somebody that you can try to invest every single resource you have, and he can become an all-NBA player one day. I don't think Trey Johnson's ever going to be an all-NBA player, so I don't think Jeremiah Fears is going to be an all-NBA player. I'm really glad they took the swing on Ace Bailey. Walter Clayton, I'm a little bit against Walter Clayton. Like, I would have taken Kasparis, but they wanted shooting on the perimeter. Maybe they trade Sexton, okay. And John Tonje in the second round. I like Tonje. Would rather him go to, like, the Knicks or the Bucks, but Utah has so many wings with Bailey and Sensabaugh and Cody Williams, Jordan Clarkson for now, Markkanen, right? I think Utah had a good draft, though. I'll throw them in the 6 through 10. And then lastly, Washington. I don't love it. I don't dislike it. I'm not the biggest Will Riley guy, specifically at 21. I would have loved if they kept that 18th pick and drafted Kasparis Shakuchonis. That would have been an A grade for me. Trey at 6 and Kasparis at 18. I like Jameer Watkins at 43. They didn't take any bigs in this class either. So I'm going to say Washington also might be like 6 to 10. So who do I want to bump up, right? I have Charlotte, Memphis, Phoenix, and San Antonio 1 through 5. I could bump up Atlanta because they got that future first and Porzingis. I could bump up Sacramento for making kind of something out of nothing. Or I could just do the default and I'll bump up Dallas because they got the best player. I'll do that. I know it's chalky. So 6 through 10, I have Sacramento, Atlanta, Washington, Miami, and Utah. Shout out to the Southeast. I have 3 teams in there. So now I have 6 teams, 11 through 15. Orlando, Toronto, Philly, Oklahoma City, Chicago, and Boston. I'm going to drop Chicago there to 16 through 20. So I have Detroit, Indiana, LA, Cleveland, New Orleans, and Chicago. I'm going to drop Cleveland to 21 to 25. And then I'm going to say, you know what, Brooklyn? I came away so disappointed. You had a bottom 5 draft, everything considered, even though you had 5 first-round picks. So, yeah, hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the Just Ballin' Podcast, basically ranking every team's draft class. That was a lot of fun to do. You can let me know if you did enjoy by dropping a thumbs up on YouTube. Let me know in the comments on YouTube what you guys think about this, or maybe just give me your thoughts and opinion on your favorite team's draft class as a whole, with everything considered. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, really appreciate a rating and review. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.